Hey guys, Centurion here, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a different video. I'm going to be giving a little beginner's guide. It's only about 8-9 minutes of things you should know or should learn if you're a beginner trying Daisy for the very first time. Now, over the 10,000 approximate hours I have playing on the game, this is all the things I've learned and accumulated over the time, which I should pass on to you guys, especially if you're new to the game and want to get used to it. So the first one I have is to utilize these maps. These can be found in different areas around the map, especially in towns such as Kelm, Mogilevka and so forth, which gives you a little red marker on the map. So if I just go back up to it now, you can see it. Now, these red markers show exactly your position on the map. These can be found in Kelm, Mogilevka and also further towns around the map. Next is to go ahead and utilize these hunting shops. These spawn all forms of different equipment, from rifles, clothing, compasses, weapon cleaning kits in general, ammunition, and little hunting survival tools. So utilize these whenever you see them, and especially use these hunting clothes, as in my opinion they are the best in the game to what you're going to need. The next one is to always stay off the beaten path. Utilize the trees as cover, as well when you're going around the map people will be watching the roads to be an easy kill to get your gear. So always travel off the road in the forest line, wood line or whatever to stay off the beaten track and to keep your movements concealed. On top of it, it will also give you some nice concealment so you can snipe people in towns. As well is to always use these maps. If you're going to navigate through the forest line, use these maps, as this will give you the best position where you can travel and plan your route. On top of that, use a compass as well if you're going to do some navigation, so you can know the direction you're travelling. This can form a normal standard compass or an orienteering compass, and combine them all together with a GPS receiver to plan your route and get some pinpoint movement so you can find where you're going, as well as you won't even need to check your map anyway. The next one is to utilize these camps. These military camps that you can find about the map, especially at Stary, southwest of Staroy, edge of the map near Pasarevka, as well as other places, also have some very good tier loot. Now, this can come from a tier 3, a tier 4 and tier 2 weapons, however it will save you from going to the hardcore military areas and losing it all just for an M4. These you can find your standard automatic weapons, long range rifles, SMGs, pistols and all the ammo and clothing you're going to need to find some kit. Especially here, all the way down at Southwest Airfield, you can actually find some decent kit, even though it's a tier 1 military area. As well, Green Mountain is another good place, as it's really often visited, but be careful with the tower is because people like to go ahead and build a base in there. As well, on top of it, it is also really good for loot, as it's a tier 3 within a tier 2 loot area. Over here, it would be best to avoid the hardcore military areas like VMC, Northwest Airfield, Tissy, and just resort to the small camps until you get good enough loot to risk it. Another thing is to check these water areas, these little ponds and lakes, as people like to go ahead and store crates and barrels on them to hide their loot from other players. As well, it's good if you wish to hide your loot, is because it is very rare people actually check them, so you can actually store a barrel or a crate full of items for a good week or so before it despawns. Just like this, just above or below the water surface. Now, last thing, well, one of the last things anyway, is to avoid the hardcore military areas until you are confident enough with the gear you have, or confident enough to go ahead and challenge it in general. Purely because if you go in there and you get into a fight, you're going to lose everything if you do die. So be sure to plan your route, get enough gear, then move to the high tier military areas before you wish to plan or even get into a fight and risk everything you have got until even you've built a base where you can store it. But I would advise wait until you get enough things before you even dare to go in to the big military areas. And just resort to the small camps like this one here in Steroy for military gear until you're confident enough to move to the larger ones. My next one is to utilize something like this. This is iZurvive. Now, this gives you a map of everything on the everything really on the map of Chernarus, Livonia, and so other maps, especially the ones on DZSA, and you're able to mark things down. For example, I'll just put my name there. I can save it, or I can go ahead if I really wanted to and remove it. Now, this gives you everything from tiers to loot, to medicals, to rural, to industrial, to the coastal. Now, if I really wanted to, I could turn off water pump, you can see that, or I can make groups, or if I can even really wanted to, I can do the loot tier overlay. Now this comes in all 4 tiers, including unique, and I can just boom. Now you got everything. Now on this, obviously let's move my marker there, go ahead and delete that for me. Now with this I can see everything. So here is the unique loot tiers. This spawns stuff like plastic explosive and other little bits. Now, the red part, if I just show that, is your tier 4. But those purple are your unique, which spawn everything like plastic explosive. You can find that around the map. Now, these red ones are your high tier loot. These will be stuff like M4 and grenades. With the yellow here as your tier 3, stuff like your AKs. Then you got your blue and then your green. Now, the benefit with this is you can see what areas are high tier and low tier. So I would recommend utilising iZurvive. My link is in the description. Now, the last but not least is utilising the hospital buildings. These spawn a lot of good medical supplies, and these ones even include a small little stall that you can find most or even all medical things at. So these big ones also spawn gas gear that you can go to the gas area with. But these Star of Life ones also can have the little stall which spawns everything you may need. This one here in Gorka also has the little stall on the right hand side which will spawn your bandages, first aid kits and so forth. Now the good thing with these Star of Lives is if you check this out, this is where it will spawn all medical gear in this box here, so even outside you still can find some good medical loot. If this helped at all, go ahead and like, subscribe and comment your best tip.